Emmerdale's Moira Dingle will be left devastated over her future, as she's dealt a final crushing blow. Things haven't been going well for Moira lately, due to the ongoing troubles at Butler's farm. Moira has been juggling huge financial issues, which were made even worse by a serious leak with the slurry tank. The leak contaminated the village's main water supply, landing young Harry Sugden in hospital. Though it was caused by John Sugden, Moira was held responsible for the leak, and had to pay an eye-watering fine. In upcoming episodes, Moira receives even more bad news when Noelle, a representative from the water company, arrives. Noelle informs her that her recent appeal has been turned down and she will be forced to pay the whole fine. Devastated Moira realizes that after 16 years, she may lose the farm for good. Meanwhile, rumors about the farm's future circulate around the village, piquing the interest of Joe Tate. With Kim in Dubai, Joe is handling her affairs, and he approaches Moira with another offer to buy the farm. Moira is reluctant to sell to Kim, but struggles to find an alternative solution to her troubles. Kane shares his support, assuring his wife that she'll make the right decision. Moira has seen the writing on the wall for the farm for a few weeks now, our Emmerdale source admits. The latest news that the fine will stand seems to be the final straw. Selling up to Kim would be the last thing Moira would want, as there's years of animosity between them, but are things so desperate that she'll have to consider it her darkest hour. The fight to save Butler's farm reaches breaking point in Emmerdale. In upcoming Emmerdale episodes, longtime resident Moira Dingle is set to face an agonizing crossroads, one that could see her say a painful goodbye to Butler's farm after 16 years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice. The once proud farmer has spent weeks desperately trying to keep her livelihood afloat amid a spiraling crisis that now threatens to destroy everything she's built. With mounting debts, legal penalties, and a fractured community trust, Moira's world is collapsing, and a final blow leaves her reeling. A farm on the brink. For Moira, life on Butler's farm has always been far from easy. The land may be her sanctuary, but it has also been a battlefield, weathering emotional storms, financial strain, and personal betrayals. But the recent disaster involving the farm's slurry tank may have tipped her past the point of no return. The tank leak, which was inadvertently triggered by John Sugden, caused widespread contamination in the village's water supply. The fallout was catastrophic, especially when young Harry Sugden was hospitalized due to the exposure. Although Moira wasn't directly at fault, as the farm's operator, she was held accountable. The water authorities imposed a punishing fine, one so large that it sent shockwaves through the already struggling Dingle household. She was already fighting an uphill battle, one insider revealed. But the slurry tank disaster has completely wiped out what little buffer she had left. The cost to repair the damage, physically, legally, and emotionally, is enormous. A final nail in the coffin. Next week, things go from bad to worse as Moira is dealt yet another cruel setback. Noelle, a representative from the water authority, visits Butler's farm with news that her appeal against the fine has been officially rejected. Despite her arguments and efforts to contest the charge, the full amount still stands, and there's no further recourse. Standing in her kitchen as Noelle delivers the news, Moira struggles to maintain composure. Her entire body tenses as the realization sets in. She has no choice but to pay the penalty in full. Her shoulders sink, her hands tremble. This isn't just a financial blow. This is the moment her future crumbles. I gave everything to this place, she whispers, more to herself than to anyone else. 16 years of work, and it's still not enough. The camera lingers as she gazes out the window, looking over the fields that have defined her life. Her identity is entwined with that land, and now, it may be ripped away. Kane Dingle steps in. Kane, usually a man of few words when it comes to emotional vulnerability, becomes her quiet anchor. He sees how much Moira is suffering, how hard she's trying to hold it all together. As he enters the room and hears the devastating verdict, he wraps an arm around her. "We'll figure this out," he says. "You don't have to carry this alone." While Kane's support is heartfelt, even he begins to question the viability of saving the farm. The pair share a heartfelt scene later that evening, seated at the kitchen table in silence before finally opening up about the storm of emotions they're facing. Moira breaks down. "I've lost everything once before. I can't do it again. Not this farm. It's all I have left." Kane looks at her, clearly torn. "Then we fight. But you have to be ready to do whatever it takes. Even if that means making deals you don't want to." Joe Tate returns with an offer. As whispers of Butler's farm's downfall ripple through the village, word reaches Joe Tate. With Kim Tate away in Dubai, Joe is managing her Yorkshire assets and sees a golden opportunity. Never one to miss a strategic acquisition, he arrives at the farm with a proposition. Sell up now, cut your losses, and walk away with something rather than nothing. Moira's reaction is swift and visceral. You think I'd sell to Kim Tate? She spits, her voice low and filled with restrained fury. After everything she's done? Joe remains calm. I'm not here to fight, Moira. I'm here to help. The truth is, there aren't many people lining up to buy this place right now. And Kim has the resources to make it work again. It's a cruel irony, Kim Tate, her longtime rival, the woman who once tried to destroy her marriage and business, may be the only person who can save the farm now. The idea of surrendering Butlers to Kim feels like a betrayal to herself, her family, and the legacy she tried to protect. But the numbers don't lie. Moira knows that without a miracle, Butler's farm is doomed. Joe's offer, as distasteful as it is, might be the only lifeline left. As news of Moira's struggles spread, opinions among the villagers are divided. Some feel sympathy, recognizing how hard she's worked over the years. Others, however, haven't forgotten that it was her farm that endangered the village's water supply and sent a young boy to the hospital. She should have maintained her equipment better, says one resident. People got hurt because she cut corners. Others argue that Moira is being scapegoated for a mistake that wasn't entirely hers. At the Woolpack, heated conversations break out as villagers weigh in on her fate, unaware that Moira herself is sitting in the corner, quietly absorbing every word. The social pressure adds another layer of torment. Moira isn't just fighting to save her farm, she's fighting for her dignity, her place in the community, and her family's future. The emotional toll. As the situation worsens, Moira becomes increasingly isolated. Scenes show her wandering the farm alone, touching the walls of the barn, the fences, the gates, each with a memory attached. The place holds echoes of happier times, family breakfasts, summer bonfires, first kisses, and last goodbyes. Flashbacks are interspersed throughout the episode, reminding viewers of Moira's long journey since arriving in Emmerdale. We see her with John Sugden, with Holly, with Maddie and Adam, all the people she's loved and lost. These moments make it painfully clear, if Moira loses Butler's farm, she isn't just losing property. She's losing her past. I've buried people here, she says in a heartbreaking confessional. Loved them, lost them, every inch of this land has a story. A dangerous decision ahead. As the deadline to pay the fine looms, Moira is forced to confront the decision head-on. Kane urges her to consider the long-term cost of her pride. If we go down with the ship, he warns, there's no coming back. Later that night, Moira takes out a box of old papers, receipts, family photos, legal documents, and begins sorting through them. Her fingers linger on a picture of her and John in front of the farmhouse. She clutches it to her chest and cries. By morning, she calls Joe. Let's talk, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. What's next for Moira? Will Moira really go through with it? Will she hand over the keys to Butler's farm, knowing it will end up in Kim Tate's hands? Or will she find one final, unexpected lifeline to hold on a little longer? Insiders say the decision will come at a heavy emotional cost, regardless of the outcome. Moira has always been one of the toughest characters on the show, our source adds. But this storyline is really about testing her limits, how much she's willing to sacrifice, and what truly matters to her. With the farm's fate hanging in the balance, fans can expect a series of powerful, emotionally charged scenes as Moira battles the biggest decision of her life.